Welcome to the Main Street Podcast with Brandon Benefield.
Hey, what is going on here?
Adam Howell.
Okay, I need 33 1/3 pounds of bacon.
Alfred Romero.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm like a dumpster.
And Adrian Moss.
Let's do this!
We use the word revolution because this is a revolution.
Hold one, arm drag. Woo! The millions. What? That's the big wiggle.
Look at all of this crap in this ring.
Hold two, arm bar.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
It's still real to me, damn it.
That's right, yet another podcast about professional wrestling. Seriously, guys?
Making their way to the ring at a combined weight of 776 pounds, the Mean Street
Podcast.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family gradunzel. Two, sweet!
Good God Almighty, the roof just came off.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is the Mean Street Podcast. It's your pal Brandon Benefield, aka Beat Double, if you will. And we are coming to you. Of course, we're still doing the social distancing, and we're trying something new here so we could record the video for all you meanies out there to see our beautiful faces. But we're coming to you from Zoom, and across the interwebs from me over there is A-Bomb2 Suite. Adam Howell, what's up, man?
Man, you know what's up. I'm here to deliver some unbiased journalistic integrity virtually, remotely, in these unprecedented times where everyone is wearing a mask. But I'm going to uncover who they really are, because that's what I have to do as a journalist. When I'm walking through the grocery stores, I'm going to find out who you are underneath that mask. So that's what unbiased journalistic integrity looks like on this dead end that leads to a Mean Street. And down south, Adrian, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I miss you guys. I miss the outside world. I miss pro wrestling. I miss pro wrestling live. I booed at a little old lady, and this isn't even a joke. I literally booed at a little old lady in Sam's the other day because she was wanting to harass. She was harassing one of the workers because they were limiting people, how many people they're letting into the store. Mm-hmm. And she goes off on the worker, and nobody said anything. So naturally, somebody that says some stupid trash, I turn around and I booed at her.
Oh,
and yeah, it was awesome. I was like, man, I missed this. Other than everybody walking around the grocery store looking like Sub-Zero, I haven't gotten used to this yet.
You should have started a what chant. No matter where you go, if you're checking out the grocery store, that'll be $3.37. What?
Well, as you guys could tell, Alfred Abs, he's not with us tonight. He's got a family not a family issue. He's just hanging out with the family. I guess spaghetti night again. I think that's every Thursday.
Could be. I don't know if what's going on, but like I'm picking up like some radio transmission errors or something like that.
There was a little fuzz when Adam was talking, but I don't know if that was Alfred trying to come in from
and see, he's usually here to kind of protect our servers and stuff, isn't he?
Alfred's kind of our IT guy.
Yeah.
But he's not here tonight, so I think we'll be all right, though. It's first time using Zoom, so bear with us if we have any technical difficulties. But guys, what's going on in the wrestling world? What do we got to talk about this week?
There's a lot of good stuff going on, man. I will say that Atlanta native Diamond Dallas Page, not to get political right now, I don't want to open it up in that, but obviously that is the hot button topic no matter what industry you're in, especially in the state of Georgia, with Governor Kemp saying, hey, let's start reopening stuff this weekend or whatever, this Friday and Monday. But DDPY, of course, DDP's yoga studio, he came on CNN and said that he is not comfortable opening. What do you guys think about that?
I saw that. It was on Anderson Cooper or something? I just saw
I think it was actually a rerun of Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
That'd have been good. I would
have
watched it then.
For the brother, he's got it going on.
That was, and you didn't
script
that at all. Like, I know you have not practiced that. This is naturally you. That's awesome.
I'm actually like I threw that out there thinking no one would ever remember that TV show.
One of the best theme songs in TGIF history.
Agree to disagree.
Go on, man. Cooper.
No, I totally disagree.
That was horrible. Oh my gosh. Why are we talking about hanging Mr. Cooper?
I
It's your
said
fault,
Anderson.
Brandon.
I said Anderson Cooper was the show that DDP was on. Correct.
So he was hanging with Mr. Cooper. So DDP was hanging with Mr. Cooper.
I guess so. Anyways, but yeah, Diamond Dallas Page is not going to be opening DDPY this Friday.
But here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. Here's the old kicker, the old hook. He was talking about the reason why they were closed. I saw this whole thing on Facebook video that one of his employees named David.
Oh, I saw that. Waffle House.
Went to go eat at Waffle House. I was like, I wonder if he's talking about David Ali.
Oh yeah, he is. He was because that was several weeks ago when they first closed it down, and I can't remember who I saw. I saw some video or some little interview where he mentioned that, but it wasn't CNN or anything. But this was like weeks ago when they first closed down the DDPY facility. And as soon as he said David, I was like, oh, it's got to be David Ali.
Yeah.
David Ali went to the Waffle House where one of the wait staff or somebody at that Waffle House came down with coronavirus, and so
he goes to Waffle House night after night to get a batty melt,
to get a bite.
No, I didn't see the interview. At the very end, did DDP just like look into the camera like, that's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
And then he was actually via satellite with Mr. Cooper, and just out of nowhere, like he went across.
I love that you keep calling him Mr. Cooper.
That's his name.
Right.
Yeah. He was doing it via satellite. Was there a 1-800-COLLECT commercial that came in after that?
That's right.
The man from the street, Lee Marshall.
By the way, that's one of your backgrounds, isn't it?
It totally is.
Moss
Yeah,
Man?
I don't know how to.
Wait, you have Lee Marshall as a background?
Well, no, it's
I've got
Moss Man. Lee Marshall, Lee Mossman.
Hang on, I've got these things.
Anyways, Mossman's been playing around with the backdrops for the now that we're on Zoom. And you can, there it is. 1-800-COLLECT.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Adrian, say something.
I can't. I'm trying to hold it together because this is so good.
It's pretty great.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, the whole COVID-19 continues to take major headlines, and of course, DDPY making headlines with Diamond Dallas Page coming and hanging with Mr. Cooper, talking about the closure, talking about David Ali, getting going to Waffle House, just couldn't resist. What do you guys usually get at Waffle House? Brandon, what do you usually get?
I always get hash browns covered and chunked, and then probably a burger, cheeseburger maybe.
I always get the grilled chicken melt with the bacon, and then I get double hash browns with nothing in them because I'm just a regular person. I don't need all that fancy stuff. Just give me regular hash browns, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go patty melt and I go plain hash browns.
Well,
what is happening here?
I tend to spice it up a little bit with some Tabasco. Wait. Do you guys,
Adam, are you seeing this?
Do you guys hear something?
Why does the world go on beating? Why do these eyes of mine cry?
What the heck is going on here?
They know it's the end of the world because El Corona made it so.
What the hell?
Hello, Mean Streaks Podcast.
El Corona?
It is I, El Corona.
Look, all right.
Wait. Alfred?
No, I don't think that's Alfred.
No?
So here's the thing. This is the first time we're using Zoom, and if you guys have seen the news, these Zoom conversations have been known to get hacked. These are people doing classrooms and stuff like that, and people are hacking in and showing weird images and videos. And
this is a weird image, definitely.
I don't know what's happening. Alfred's our IT guy, and he's not here to fix this. I'm trying to get rid of it.
I'm a little bit upset that you didn't invite me onto your podcast. You invited that blubber butt baloney on last week, but you did not invite El Corona, the Force.
Huh.
Why, Mean Streaks Podcast, did you not invite us?
Well, obviously, we don't have your contact information.
Wait. Did he call us Mean Streaks Podcast?
That is right. I called you Mean Streaks Podcast. And the reason why I called you Mean Streaks is because the meanest things about you guys are the green and brown streaks running down the backside interiors of your pantaloons.
Ew.
Sir,
I don't wear
I
pants.
will have none of that.
Listen here, guy. Before you go any further, why don't you turn your phone the other way so we can see you're sideways?
Well, no, he's obviously in
Oh,
the southern.
there he goes.
Whoa.
He's obviously in the southern hemisphere. I mean, that's what cameras look like in the southern hemisphere.
Huh.
It's like the toilets. They flush the other way.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. So, can we help you? I mean, what do you want?
What I want is to let you know that I am the Force. You cannot defeat the Force by throwing a Thunderblood Mahoney on me.
I don't think that's his name. He's got a totally awesomer name than that, and it's not whatever you just said.
What is his name?
I am a force that cannot be controlled or defeated. You have to endure, El Corona.
For how long, sir? How long are you going to be doing this? How long are you going to be tormenting the Mean Street Podcast?
Guys, I'm working on it. I'm trying to cut the.
Shut this guy down, Brandon.
I'm working on it.
Defeat El Corona.
See, this is where we need Alfred, our IT guy. But I think I got it. Hang on.
Hey, what are you doing? I'll get you, Mean Streets.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Who
That sucks balls.
Creep.
Who the heck was that? How did he get in here?
I don't know.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Where's my notepad?
All right. See, this is, of course, the one time Alfred's not here, our IT expert.
You know, I actually blame Alfred for this one.
Are you guys sure that wasn't Alfred? Like, we've had this El Corona nut job come in time after time. He's interrupting our podcast on Zoom. We're trying to talk about hanging Mr. Cooper, and here he comes. We're talking about Waffle House, and here he comes. And
that's probably why he showed up, because we were talking about Waffle House, and one thing the Waffle House is notorious for is giving you the shits. So I think he just kind of flushed his way into the podcast. So that makes sense.
Well,
I will say that he was very draining to go on with that plumbing joke there, but. Honestly, like he's been giving us all these threatening videos online. If anyone out there, any of the meanies out there, any of my now deputized journalists out there, that's right. If you're a meanie, you've now been deputized into the world of unbiased journalistic integrity.
Wow.
You know what's funny about that? You bring that up, Adam. And I learned this from T-Bolt Mahoney. Apparently there was an underground ring of just like wrestling vigilantes that exist living amongst us like they're one of us.
Really?
Yes, it is uncanny. He was telling me about his, he didn't just go straight from becoming Thunderbolt Mahoney one day. Like, he was mentored by another masked luchador by the name of Maestro Awesome McKickass. And he was telling me some insane stories. Like, you know how if you say Thunderbolt's name 3 times, he'll just appear? Apparently when you did that with Maestro's name, he would appear, but he'd always appear with like just naked chicks. Like, it was a way better power.
Wow.
So Maestro.
What was it?
What is it?
Maestro Awesome McKickass. He's on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. I got to see if we can find a link for it.
He's Irish?
I'm not really sure how to let you know about, but there's him. There's Lester Jugs. There's of course Mahoney, and then
Lester
Corona.
Jugs. I remember Lester Jugs. He was on one of the SHW pre-shows with us like a year ago.
And he's a swell dude, man. He'll sit there. He'll back you up in any kind of fight. He'll help you change a tire. He'll find random shit on the highway. He's cool, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you're taking me back to my back when I was getting my master's degree in unbiased journalist integrity. I think I remember a certain wrestler by the name of Hamburger Lynn as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're right. There is a whole underground network of mass wrestlers, whether they're luchadors or not. Honestly, whether if they're truly pro wrestlers or not, we don't know. I've never seen any of them in the ring.
It's just guys that live the gimmick, man. Like, they never let it go, and they're just willing to go out there and just, I don't know how to explain it any other way than that.
All right. Well, hey, that's enough talk about that. There's a lot going in the world today. We were talking about Waffle House, and y'all got to explain what you like to eat.
Yeah, that's where we left off. Yeah, go ahead.
I like to do the patty melt with the onions. I always ask if you want onions. Of course I want onions. I want a patty melt. Double hash brown plain, and then I put Tabasco and ketchup in it. And the only reason I bring that up is because, number one, I'm hungry. And number two, I'm really craving Waffle House.
Yeah. You changed my life with the Tabasco sauce and the hash browns.
What's that?
You changed my life when you showed me that I could put Tabasco sauce in my hash browns. That never not done it ever since.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, guys. They're so light and fluffy. But anyway, speaking of,
just by the way, don't go to the Waffle House that David Ali went to just to be safe.
I don't think I'd ever go to a restaurant David Ali went to.
All right, fair enough.
COVID-19, David-19, they both end in BID.
Oh my God.
Am I not a genius or what?
Anyways, yeah, well, I don't know, it's going a little far, but go ahead. What was the next topic?
So a little bit of a stretch. Hang on. Stretch it out. So speaking of double hash browns, Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Triple H, he just came on record in saying that WrestleMania may as well be 2 nights going forward. What do you guys think about that?
I had a feeling that was I had a feeling that was on the horizon. I thought about that before the COVID-19 stuff ever happened. I think they were just waiting for their window, and they're going to see this opportunity, and they're just going to take it.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think it's a great idea. And I was going to ask you guys off camera, but was this the first year that Wrestle Kingdom did 2 nights? Or have they been doing it for 2 nights?
I think they've always been doing it for 2 nights, yeah.
Have they? Okay, I wasn't sure how that, because I never really keep up with Wrestle Kingdom, but I didn't know if it was like they did it and now WrestleMania, and then WWE's going like, hey, it's a good idea, we should do it.
What I'm curious about is that, like, I've gone to the last, with the exception of this last one here, but the last 3 I've gone to, and I enjoy going to them. And Adam and I were talking about going to California next year for one. Yeah. But, it's usually, it runs me out of pocket about $3,000 every time I go. That's just for one night. So I don't know how they're going to, but there's no way I'd be able to go for 2 nights and then hotel, travel, food and all that kind of stuff. That is going to be an expensive damn trip.
So I think for me, and since you brought that up, I think if I was going to the event, I would only want it to be one big night. But if I'm at home watching the event, I kind of like it for 2 nights, because I mean, that's like 7 hours for one show for one night, on a Sunday night. I also like that it's on Saturday. I wish the whole thing would be on Saturday. We've said this before, like the AEW pay-per-views, I love them because they're on Saturday nights, so you can stay up late, and we're old and we got to get up for work on Monday morning. So, but no, so if I'm watching at home, I'm cool with 2 nights. If I'm going there live, I don't think I'd be able to pull 2 nights.
I think it opens up a lot of doors. Number one, it just turns the whole weekend into a wrestling weekend, which it is already. And that's the thing, is that the downside is, hey, it's kind of already a weekend permeated and saturated with pro wrestling, because you typically have Ring of Honor going on. You definitely have NXT going on. You have SmackDown the 2 days before. You have Raw the day after. So it's just wrestling. The Hall of Fame, Access. There's so much to do already, but it doesn't mean you have to do it all if you actually go there and you're in attendance. So there are a bunch of different things. What would be fun, man, this would probably open a whole new avenue, is if, like, you basically you get a big group of guys and gals together, and you go and you pay your ticket to go sit up in the nosebleeds on night 1, and then you have a WrestleMania like hotel party the next night, and just have a great time. Order some pizzas, drink some brewskis, whatever you want to do.
What? I jumped in late with the what's. Sorry.
I think that it does open up a lot of doors, and obviously more revenue stream for the company. And honestly, with all the danger of coronavirus and everything, all the shutdowns and everything like that, and with all the layoffs that we talked about last week from WWE, I started realizing how important WWE, almost said WCW,
WCW.
I realize, of course, we all know this, and I think we've mentioned it before, but just how important World Wrestling Entertainment is to the entire pro wrestling industry. So, like, if they were to go under for whatever, God forbid, whatever reason, it would be a tragic day for the entire pro wrestling, because everything kind of cascades down, Yeah. So there's got to be that top dog, and I don't think any other company is in the position to be the top dog the way the WWE is, not even AEW.
Yeah.
What about Roman Reigns? Could he big dog it?
He's the big dog, not the top dog.
Oh,
big dog.
It would just be RRE, Roman Reigns Entertainment.
Hey, isn't there something going on with Roman Reigns right now? Is it like
he's just taking time off, and so because of the virus and he's got a weak immune system.
Well, I heard that. I think that his wife had a set of twins as well, but she's got a set of twins. But I mean, I think that she gave birth to a set of twins, and but I thought he had some heat on him too. But I guess not.
So there was something going on backstage where they said he's not to be mentioned on TV. like in storylines or anything like that, which makes sense because if he's not going to be around and they're going to continue to go live for the foreseeable future or even pre-taped for the foreseeable future, if he's not going to be there, why bring him up? Like, it makes sense.
That makes sense.
But people were twisting it on the dirt sheets, I think, making it look like, oh, he's got heat. Nobody's allowed to talk about him. And, they were saying like the night or a couple nights before WrestleMania when they switched his match and it was going to be Roman Reigns instead of, not Roman, he is Roman Reigns. It was going to be Braun Strowman against Goldberg.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Braun Strowman. Once they made that announcement, which was like the SmackDown before WrestleMania or something, he hasn't been mentioned on TV since. And so people were taking that as like a bad sign. Like, oh man, he's in the doghouse, the big doghouse company. So
that was good, Brandon. You made me laugh.
I almost
the first time ever.
I almost want to now because I feel like that was like my high note.
He's in the doghouse, the big doghouse. Oh yeah, I don't think there's any threat to Roman Reigns at all. I think that if he wants to take some time off, they're gonna let him take some time off, and I think he should because he went through what was it, leukemia, so he probably does have some immune. He probably has some situations where he needs to be extra cautious. He's in that at-risk category. And honestly, WWE and their storytellers and their writers, they guard their stuff so well, and they know how to market it properly. They know what a return can do. When Roman Reigns finally comes back and he gets that pop, it's just like when Triple H was out for a long time with his surgery. He finally came back. It's such a big deal. So they're just playing it close to the chest or vest or however that saying goes.
Well, he wears that vest, doesn't he? Like the bulletproof vest, or what is it that he wears?
Yeah, I believe the rumor is he stole that vest from D'Lo Brown.
You remember D'Lo Brown's was like so big and thick? It was like one of those old umpires.
The old pad. It looked like a fake bulletproof vest.
That's ridiculous.
I love D'Lo Brown though.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, good times.
What else happened in wrestling this week, guys?
By the way, the best part, just real quick before we move on, the best part about us doing video of this is that like the awkward pauses are even better because everybody can see us now.
Yeah, we're not editing any of the stuff.
We'll just throw it up as it is. But it's just funny. The audio version I'll probably tighten up, but this one is just like it is what it is. So when we do hit those points where we go, all right, what's next?
All right, cool. We're gonna talk about next, guys.
I love D'Lo Brown. You want to talk about Nation of Domination for a minute?
Here's a receipt. That's part of his theme music, by the way. If you didn't know the D'Lo Brown theme music, those are lyrics.
This is what happens like that. This is everything that gets edited out. So we are definitely going to be very careful because we know that this unrestricted Mean Street podcast is going to be released to all the meanies out there. This meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited minutes. Good job, Brandon.
I didn't even. Oh, it says a gift from Zoom running out of time. We've removed the 40-minute time limit in your group meeting.
Dude, look at that.
So
Sweet.
what?
How much time do we have?
Well, I guess we have unlimited time.
Unlimited time. Well, folks, that'll be it. You guys have a great night. And
now that we can go on forever, we're just going to end it.
In that case, just sit right there. Speaking of D'Lo Brown, let's do an entire history of the Nation of Domination. Y'all ready for this?
Stand by. Let me pull up my computer for this one because I love that faction.
As long as we don't pull it, as long as we're not going to pull a DX and like dress up as the members of the
you can't do that
because Mossman maybe could get away with it, but as far as Adam and I,
nobody should be able to get away with that.
I could be one of the members of PG-13. They were white.
I'm trying to think who's. I don't know who that is.
You got me on that one. PG-13.
PG-13, Crush, and Owen Hart. They were all in Nation of Domination. Racist.
I had no idea they were called PG-13.
Yeah, and they came out rapping.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember this at all.
I think I was in my Goldberg phase of watching nothing but WCW.
Obviously, that didn't put butts in seats, and we've got some bad
I believe you.
Guys. My lights may go out again. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Adam's looking it up. I believe you.
If it weren't for PG-13,
you wouldn't be the man you are today. I get it.
A movie career.
Really?
That would have been a good line if I hadn't been interrupted.
Sorry, they got on to me, people of the Mean Streak, about me interrupting because apparently I interrupt people a lot.
It's mainly Alfred.
I wasn't even done speaking yet. So
sorry. Go ahead. But since Alfred's not here, I guess we'll blame you. I don't know.
That's
whatever.
Fine. I'm okay with that.
So what are we? Is Adam looking it up here? What are we talking
I think he's
about?
legit looking at PG-13.
I feel like now that we have unlimited time on
this.
this Zoom meeting, we're just gonna kind of like now we're just like, hey, let's talk about whatever. Now
Let's talk about
there's no
Chainsaw
structure.
Charlie, man. Let's dig that up.
I remember Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack, and they were in the dumpster. They got put in the dumpster by New Age Outlaws and pushed off the stage.
They got put into Alfred.
No, I see what you did there. But that's what I'm saying.
I couldn't find a video, but all the wrestling fans, all the meanies out there who have now been deputized to be a part of unbiased journalistic integrity, they know full aware.
They know full wear?
PG
full wear?
Underwear.
PG full gear.
Yeah.
And how they started Nation Domination with Farouk. Hey, guys, speaking of stables, how about ABJ invading All Elite Wrestling?
Did you say ABJ?
ABJ?
Yeah, Atlanta-based jobbers.
That's the name of their stable? I don't know if we should call them the ABJ.
We'll do that.
I mean, I'm aware of who you're referring to. But
it's an abbreviation. It's okay in journalism.
Huh. So for anybody that hasn't watched the last few weeks, especially last night, we record obviously on Thursday. So last night on Wednesday Night Dynamite, former Southern Honor Wrestling champion Alan Angels took on Kenny Omega in actually a pretty decent match. It wasn't a straight up squash match. So I don't know if he should be considered a jobber. What'd you call him? AB? What was it?
I don't think it was that at all. But I will say that what I like about it, and I hate the term jobber, but it is what it is. And they were definitely utilized it really well. And I know I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I miss enhancement talent. Like it's something that WWE just stopped doing, and you just see the same match week after week after week. Like Dolph Ziggler versus everybody, basically it was Raw for a long time. And it was the same person week after week. And even in All Elite Wrestling, like you kind of start seeing the same matches over and over again. But now we're seeing awesome local talents like Lee Johnson and Alan Angels. Of course, we've seen Danny Jordan in the ring. We saw Shug D. We've seen so many awesome people coming into that national spotlight on TNT, going toe-to-toe with some of the best wrestlers in the world. I mean, Alan Angels going toe-to-toe with the best wrestler, according to a lot of people in the world right now, Kenny Omega. I mean, that is freaking awesome.
It was pretty good. And I also enjoyed the fact that we did have the commentary team, by putting Jericho on there with Tony Schiavone, has changed the game for me watching AEW every week, because that has been great. And the fact that he kept calling him Alan Eagles, Alan Angle, and then he called I almost spit up my drink when he called Kenny a pumpkin-headed dipshit.
So he's been slipping that in like over the last several weeks. Anytime he talks about anybody from the Elite, he usually calls them that. But one thing that was cool about local fans, especially Southern Honor Wrestling fans, will remember, it was almost exactly a year ago. It was May 3rd of last year when we had SHW Retaliation, which was also hashtag SHW1000. And that was the big show where Cody showed up, and then Jericho, and then the surprises were Jericho and Kenny Omega. And the night ended with Kenny Omega giving the one-winged angel to Alan Angels. And if I recall, and I saw this, Dylan posted this on Facebook yesterday or last night after the show, but he kind of caught a lot of flack from a lot of like hardcore, wrestling insiders about how Alan Angels got jumped by everybody, and then he got beat up by Kenny Omega. So Dylan was kind of looking for a little credit last night, because he said, hey, this is long-term storytelling. I started this story a year ago, planted the seeds for it, and then it came to fruition a year later last night on Dynamite, where they had the one-on-one match with Alan Angels and Kenny Omega. So I thought it was a lot of fun for SHW fans, for sure.
Oh, awesome! I mean, and that's the thing, is seeing all these guys and gals on the show on TNT. Like I'm tuning in, and here's the flip side of the coin, is I'm tuning in obviously to see pro wrestling, but I in my heart of hearts, like I long for that time when I believed everything on pro wrestling. I still want to believe. I mean, even knowing it's a work, like you still want your disbelief to be suspended. That's the whole nature of pro wrestling. Yeah. But when I see guys I know up there, that I'm like, it kind of takes me out, and then I just become I don't know if you guys are like this, but then I just kind of become very critical, and I'm like, oh, that was good. Oh, that I'm thinking about the actual show and less about the story. I'm looking at how they're performing the moves, and I'm like, oh man, Alan just sold the hell out of that for Kenny. That was awesome. Instead of, oh man, his head is nearly knocked off. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you guys do that too?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, it was cool that it wasn't a squash match at all. What?
I just love the awkward pauses when Adam gets to a point or asks a question, and we're just like, eh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool, man. Wrestling's awesome, bro.
You didn't hear it, but I was like, you guys thinking about anything?
Oh yeah, no, we got it.
I thought it was funny.
It was good, man. It was cool that it wasn't a squash match, and we got to see Alan. You know, he held his own, man. It was great. And then every time they mentioned that Kenny was from Winnipeg, man, the stuff that Jericho was saying was solid gold. So good.
I just love how off the rails he goes sometimes, and it reminds me of the
what Highway was
Highway to Heaven, or
yes.
Well, because he started talking about Alan Angles, and then he started thinking about Laura Ingalls, and then he said Little House on the Prairie, and then that got into Michael Landon, which got into Highway, and it made me think it was an episode of Mean Street Podcast because he's taking a left here and a right here, going off on all these tangents. I was like, this is fantastic. But going
back to Alan and his performance, I will say that it was freaking awesome. I don't think there was a misstep in the entire match, and I thought that was just a wonderful spotlight to Atlanta, to Georgia-based independent wrestling, to see a guy like Alan who has been at it for a long time. Obviously, he got to the top of the card in SHW. He's still pulling a draw everywhere he goes in Georgia, and to see that spotlight there, and especially my favorite thing about Alan Angel's match last night with Kenny was the way he sold that V trigger, man. He sells it like he just got hit by Mike Tyson, by a right hook by Mike Tyson.
He took two of those too, man.
And that's the way it should be sold. I cannot stand. I don't know who's training these guys to tell them to like convulse, but like nobody does this. Nobody does this like when you get hit. Nobody.
We should try it out.
You look like you're riding a dirt bike on my end.
That's what it looks like.
Whenever this virus passes and we can actually get back together in person, I say we try it out on Adam.
I say we never get back together in person because this is awesome. I'm going to socially distance for the rest of my life.
Fair enough.
I love it.
Fair enough.
But the fact that he didn't decide to like turn into a 25-cent massage chair when he got hit by the V trigger, it's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. So we talked about how Angels actually didn't get squashed, even though what'd you call them again? What was the group name? The Jobber group? ABJ? ABJ, yeah. So he actually had a decent match, and at one point you mentioned he got 2 V triggers, and after the first one he got pinned, he got kicked out. Now, even Jericho did great of like helping put Alan over by like, oh my God, he kicked out of that. Like, you know, nobody does that. And so I thought that was really cool. But somebody who did get legitimately squashed was Lee Johnson, who you mentioned before. And this was his, I think Alan and Lee's, both of their second time appearing on Dynamite. And he went one-on-one with Wardlow, who is just a freaking mountain, and came in there and just, I think Lee might have got 1, maybe 2 offensive maneuvers in, but for the most part, he just got totally demolished. But it was still really cool to see him. And then another little thing that I didn't necessarily pick up on right away until she texted me right after it aired. Did you guys see the little promo where you remember Cody Vance, who now is going by Preston Vance in AEW? So Brody Lee was introducing or inducting a new guy into the Dark Order, and it turned out it was Preston Vance. But at the beginning of that little vignette, it's Preston Vance listening to a voicemail from a female, and she's like breaking up with him or dumping him or whatever. Did you guys happen to see that?
I missed that part. I didn't see that.
I actually stopped listening to you because I changed my name on Zoom.
There it is. Well, anyways, the voicemail was from none other than the real Mean Girl.
Sweet.
They didn't call her by name or anything, but it was her voice leaving the breakup voicemail. So she texted me right away. She goes, "That was me on the voicemail," and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" I was like, I should have known.
That's awesome
because she's mean, and it makes sense.
Mean to you?
Yeah,
always been nice.
Well, that's because you went now. You bought her shirt and wore it this suck up to her.
No, I didn't suck up. I just thought it was a nice shirt.
You sucked up to her.
Brandon, is that where you're trying to grow a mustache so she'll stop?
Yeah,
being
you
to
like that? So
No.
like I got the pedo stash going on. I had the full thing, but see, I can't grow it right in the middle. It's just a big bald circle. So I shaved this part.
So it doesn't grow in right here or right here.
So you're telling me it grows in
here.
all white trashy like that? And then I would go, I don't know what you're trying to say, but yeah, that's what's going on.
You got no zim zams, bing bang.
Hoosker doos,
Hoosker doos,
don'ts.
hoosker don'ts. But yeah, so I figured since we're going to be on video, I should leave it instead of shave it because
I think that since we're on video, you should not leave it.
No, I'm trying to do a thing here.
I think it looks great, Brandon. Keep on doing it.
Thank you, Adam. Oh wait, I can see you. Anyways, where were
I'm Brandon Benefield, aka B-Double, if you will.
Oh, now we're having technical issues. I think the call's ending or something.
So going back to the All Elite Wrestling and, of course, seeing all of the Georgia local talent on there kind of goes back to what I said. It's not. I mean, I'm not saying that I predicted this, but I predicted this. That basically this is like this whole this is Danny Jordan, Alan Angels, Lee Johnson, those guys. It's them turning this obstacle of this virus situation, of this self-quarantining, of this shelter in place. It's them turning that obstacle into an opportunity. It's them turning chicken salad, making chicken salad from, chicken, S-H-I-T.
I can't spell. I don't. What are you
Poop.
trying to?
I said poop.
That's how you spell poop?
Yep. and so, but I just good for them, and I hope that they push that pedal down to the metal and just go balls to the wall to get as much exposure as they can during this time period, because people are already going to start remembering their names. And I can't wait too. I don't know if Danny did anything else on NWA, but once NWA gets back up and running, if we're going to see her over there too, and then people are going to start saying, "Hey, I see 3 people everywhere. I see the Rock and Roll Express, and I see Danny Jordan."
I'm hoping that we get to see like some replays of NWA and then maybe AEW on the same night, so she can do the whole Rick Rude angle. That'd be pretty awesome.
2 shows one night. That'd be pretty awesome.
I don't think she would have a mustache though.
No, and I don't think Brandon should have a mustache either.
That's just cookie crumbles.
So today
I love you, buddy. I love you so much. I really do.
I went back today and I watched the invasion from SHW from a year ago, which still watching it gives me chills, especially with me and A-Bomb on commentary, just like losing our freaking minds and losing our voices, screaming and yelling. But I went back and watched that full thing, because a lot of times when you see clips of it or something, you just see like the action. But there was a part at the very end where Kenny Omega gave like a 5 or 10 minute speech in the ring, if you guys will recall. And as I was watching that today, he was hyping up Double or Nothing because it was the first ever AEW pay-per-view, which was going to be 2 weeks after that, or a couple weeks after, whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks. And he's promoting that, and he said something about the independent scene and how they're always going to support the independent scene. And he looked around the ring, he's pointing around the ring, and he goes, and how a lot of these wrestlers are going to be debuting with All Elite Wrestling in the future. And I remember thinking like, oh, that's crazy, because if you look fast forward a year and look how many people that were around the ring at that time that have shown up on AEW Dynamite or even on Dark. So I just thought kind of.
Well, I hope that this starts a trend, or at least continues that trend that really we started seeing in November and December from All Elite Wrestling on Dynamite, when they started utilizing enhancement talent. Right, like that's when we saw Danny Jordan. I was back around December, November, right? Yeah. So I hope that continues, because to me, if you put and I've gone on the rant about it before when it comes to enhancement talent, when you put enhancement talent in there. Remember I said, I'm not going to say it because we can't edit, but we're just any old guy can come into the ring. Any old girl just can come into the ring and challenge the big stars of All Elite Wrestling. I think that adds a very legitimate believability. And so these guys, Lee Johnson, Alan Angels, Danny Jordan, like they are part of this pendulum swing, this pivot of believability. And I think that All Elite Wrestling is ahead of the curve with that. And I think that WWE on the outside of this is actually going to be trying to play catch up with that. And I really do think that it's that big of a deal to use talent like these guys and gals to further their story.
Yeah,
any old swinging Richard, I think is what you the way you explained it last time. Yeah, but it is kind of cool that you see.
What was that?
Is that thunder at your house, Moss Man?
that was
the house.
Something serious. Yeah, that shook my soul. I think one of my kids just took a shit at the top of the stairs. It was kind of cool seeing Austin Theory. He's gotten a huge push on WWE, man. So that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, no kid. I feel really happy for him because it's such a huge, huge show to be on, a huge what's the word? Pedestal? No, whatever. Platform. There you go. A huge platform to be on. But
You're welcome.
Patio.
Because of the timing, it just sucks for him because he's doing it in front of, empty buildings, empty crowds. And so I hate that for him. But at the same time, who would have thought that an injury to Andrade would be such a good thing for Austin Theory, because a match on WrestleMania, and now he's been appearing regularly on Monday Night Raw. It's just it's insane. And we saw him less than a year ago or about a year ago at SHW. Like, just crazy, man.
Well, and of course, he was the Evolve champion as well. So he was in that fast lane to begin with. But this whole time period has slingshotted those people who really want to go.
Slingshot?
Slingshotted? Slingshotted. Oh, I think that actually is right.
Well, he said slingshotted, then I changed it, but I wasn't sure what was correct.
Sling shoots. Did
you forget your point? What was your point?
No, you guys made my point. My point is, you guys are a bunch of dumb sons of. No, it was just that wrestling is wrestling, and the weather outside is weather.
Okay,
it was a great point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
No, I think I was gonna say that wrestling has it's got a silent W, but at the same time there's no crowd, so the venues are silent, so the crowd is like the W. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I think wrestling without the W is just wrestling, isn't it?
Wrestling, yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Maybe. It also has a silent T. So there are 2 letters in there that are silent.
Wow.
I wish we were silent right now.
You never thought about that, did you?
This is what you get when you get video podcasts from the Mean Street Podcast fans. If anybody's watching this besides the 3 of us when we go back and watch it. But, yeah.
I guarantee you Thunderbolt Mahoney's going to go back and watch this. I'm going to tell him, be like, yo, he was talking a bunch of crap about you again.
Yeah, and that Corona guy.
I can't wait to see what comes from that. And hopefully we'll get some stuff from these other guys that are running around in tights.
The Vigilantes you were talking about. Do they have a group name? Like you talked about the AVG?
No, they don't. There is no, as far as I know, he didn't say anything about there being a faction, but there are just separate pockets of just weird wrestling guys that just go out there and do vigilante justice.
Do you think at some point they could form like a Justice League or an Avengers?
I think that would be awesome. It would be movie worthy.
What would the name be though, you think?
Oh man.
No, they're all like you said. I know what the name would be because you said that they're obviously they're heated, so they're hot, they're angry, and they're in pockets. Therefore, ipso facto they are
hot pockets. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So anyway,
already got theme music and everything.
Ham and cheese hot pockets belong in the trash can.
There should be no hot pocket other than just the pepperoni pizza ones. All the other ones are just absolute crap.
Like, I
can't handle it.
I remember being a kid, summer break. I didn't know how to cook anything, right? So the freezer was stocked with hot pockets. And then I would put one in the microwave, and I didn't realize ham and cheese, and I would bite into it, and I'd be like,
dude, I got one worse for you. I went to my buddy TJ's house. He's like, hey man, you want some hot pockets? I'm like, yeah, I totally want a hot pocket. So he made some hot pockets, but he only had like 2 of the pepperoni pizza ones left, and then gave me his mom's like lean pocket. You remember the lean pocket? I bit into that bull crap. I had damn broccoli in it, man. I was ready to fight.
How dare you, sir?
Croissant pockets, like
It's a good face.
that's when Hot Pockets really jumped the shark, was with croissant pockets.
See, this is good that we're on video because that was a great face, Moss Man. A great
Thank you.
broccoli
You're
hot
welcome.
pocket
Yeah,
face.
broccoli angry hot pocket face.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
that's pretty much all the news I had. One final note. Chris Jericho is going to be on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Which will be today, because we're recording this Thursday night. I'm assuming it's going to go up on Friday. So that is Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, and Brian Meyer, formerly known as Kurt Hawkins. That is their toy wrestling figure, toy centric podcast. So check it out. They scored big getting the GOAT on there. And so who knows what they're going to talk about? Hopefully some wrestling figures, because wrestling figures are awesome. But I just love seeing, speaking of just turning an obstacle into an opportunity, here's Matt Cardona finally doing, well, not finally, but he's doing what he does. He hustles and he's getting after it, and he hasn't even stopped. It's been a week and he's still going. He's still trying to put himself over. He's still trying to make those chingle dollars. So I can't wait to hear that.
Cool means me. Yeah, that'd be pretty neat to see.
I think. Do you think we would ever have a shot at getting Jericho on the podcast on the MSP?
Only if you grow out your mustache. I think at that point we can offer a free mustache ride, and he will
do that. And we have to plug
Problem
ourselves
is-
as being from Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's a good point. The problem with that is, like, it's barely there, and this is about as long as it'll go. This is about all I got.
Well, it's cutting into my feelings pretty hard.
You can put some milk on it, let the cat lick it off.
It's a really weird. That's a good reaction from us, man. Though it's a really weird thing.
So no, I don't think we'll ever have Chris Jericho on the show.
No.
But Matt Cardona maybe.
Speaking of Jericho, before you go into Matt Cardona, I did randomly talk to Rich Ward the other day, and said, "Hey, man," because he was getting ready to do a Zoom situation with Jericho and the other guys from Fozzy, and I said, "Hey, we need to get you back on the podcast. We've been doing it via Skype or Zoom as well, and maybe we can get you ring you up sometime and just check in and see how things are going." And he said, "Most definitely. Just let me know when and where." So.
Nice.
Anyways, we will definitely do that. But anyways, maybe through that we might get Jericho. Who knows? I doubt it.
Well, I don't want to use Rich to get to Jericho. Rich is just an awesome person to talk to anyway. So.
I'm not saying we got to use him. I'm just saying maybe Jericho might see it and go, "Oh, who are these guys? These guys are pretty cool." And that guy's got a real weird pedo stash.
See, I don't know. I think Jericho's just sitting on top of his mountain, just counting stacks of cash. You know what I'm saying? Just not worrying about us. So.
Oh, all right.
Like kind of like what Adam does.
Don't ever compare Adam to Chris Jericho.
No, you can do it all the time.
His head is already big enough. I mean, we're on video now, so people can actually see it.
That's mean.
Well, I'm just saying.
So conscious about the size of my head.
All right. Well, now that we're on an awkward note, is there anything else to talk about?
I've been cooking a brisket since 4 o'clock this morning. About 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm ready to go eat because it smells delicious.
I've got a rib on the fridge. I'm gonna put in the skillet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go shave my mustache. So
yes, please.
I will. I guess we're gonna wrap it up there, and hopefully, maybe one of these days, Alfred will be able to join us again. We'll see. But in the meantime, I guess ring the bell. We're tapping out.
Ask him. Ask him.
Bang.
Ring the bell.
All right.
Let's see it on video, Brandon. Let's see it on video. Top of your lungs. There we go.
My whole neighbor. I'm in an apartment, so I'm sure all my neighbors are like, "What the hell was that?"
Ask him what.
God. All right, fellas.
All right, guys. Bye, people.
How do you hang up?
Mash to leave, meet in Burton. Like this.
All right, I found it. See you.
Oh, crap.
Hey, I got you.